and students who are hoping to make a quick buck, making weapons of death and destruction. They'll tell you that they're helping make precision-guided missiles, and those are more accurate. The problem is, when these precision-guided missiles are intentionally aimed at civilians, like they are every single day, the guidance systems make them more effective weapons for genocide. So are you going to go and work at a company that's committing genocide in Yemen? Or are you going to stand with the people of the world against this bullshit? Raytheon, go home! 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 Raytheon, go home!
Are you part of the rally?
No. What about you?
Can you explain what brought you here? Are you working for Raytheon?
This is Boston. And you should turn that off. You don't have my permission to record me.
Are you working at Raytheon?
If you record my voice, I can arrest you for that. You might want to go back over there.
She's saying I can get arrested.
Yeah.
Really? Why am I going to get arrested? You think she's part of the rally, but she's not. She's filming everyone. She's getting people's faces. That's what she's doing. Can you explain what brought you here?
I'm running the event.
And how do you feel about the protest going on and them calling attention to Raytheon's bombings being used to kill civilians and children in Yemen?
Well, I should mention I'm a bit biased. I am a Raytheon employee myself. So as long as nobody's getting hurt and nobody is stopping them from getting done what they got to get done, then they can shout all they want.
So do you think there's any moral, there's like a moral dilemma working at Raytheon with all of these war crimes in Yemen committed by Saudi Arabia using Raytheon's bombs?
I don't think I know.
Do you think there's a moral
situation
dilemma? Well, there's hundreds of children that have died using Raytheon's bombs. How do you feel about that?
I have to get back to you.
Yeah. How do you feel about that? Neocons.
Now, companies like Raytheon, arms manufacturers, are actually driving this process. Back in September, they needed to certify in order to continue arms sales to Saudi Arabia that the Saudis were not intentionally targeting civilians. They clearly are. The evidence is overwhelming.
Stop Raytheon, more profit sharing.
And the man who led that effort, the Assistant Secretary of State Charles Faulkner, his last job before working at the State Department was as a lobbyist.
They have a lot of costs.
So they're taking all these billions of dollars that they get and then using it to buy influence in our government. So yes, we have to be here, we have to speak out for the people of Yemen, and at the same time take back our government. A government that is supposed to be of the people.
He says, I don't know.
And that's what gives me the most hope, because the people, you, and the people at large, they don't want war. But that will only make a difference if we keep raising our voices. So I want to thank you all for coming out tonight. Let's end the war in Yemen!
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 Is it working? Yeah. I'm Seth. I go here. Just moved up here for Northeastern. And just a quick little message. The banality of evil looks like naming an amphitheater after just some company. The banality of evil looks like a cozy six-figure job as a mechanical engineer. The banality of evil looks like a career fair that does exactly what we've been talking about tonight. And the banality of evil, to me, every day, looks like a clear sky. Here, clear skies represent liberty, freedom, opportunity, sunshine, joy. We've got songs about it. And on the other side of the coin, on the other side of the world, that banality of clear sky manifests itself as terrifying children that something's gonna drop. Because clear skies, those are the best days for drone strikes and for bombings. I can't look at clear skies the same way anymore, and I can't look at this fucking amphitheater. Fuck Raytheon!
Fuck Raytheon!
lot about what's going on in Yemen. We've heard a lot about what Raytheon does. For the sake of not just repeating what everybody has already been saying, I want to remind everyone here that this is not the only career fair that Raytheon is going to be at. Raytheon is coming to BU. Well, they're coming to MIT well, they're not coming to MIT. Lockheed Martin and other war profiteers are coming to MIT. We're going to be out there too. Raytheon is coming to BU and Tufts. We're going to be out there too. They're coming back to Northeastern on Valentine's Day. So we're gonna come back and show them some fucking love. If Raytheon has the nerve to show their face on campus anywhere, students should rise up and say, we aren't going to fucking take it. And like has been said, when these universities open up their arms, accept Raytheon, name amphitheaters after them, invest their endowments in their stock, whatever, it shows that they don't care about human progress, they don't care about education, they care about one thing, and that's cold, hard cash. But what kind of cash is this? This is cash that's paid for with the blood of the people of the world, the blood of the 18 million Yemenis who are starving to death, the blood of the people all over Latin America, Africa, and Asia. The blood of the people of the world is paying for these universities, their boards of trustees, for the boards of Raytheon and their CEOs, Lockheed Martin, General Dynamics, and for the bankers up in Wall Street too. They're the ones who profit while the people of the world are the ones who pay the price, and it's a steep price. So we can't stand idly by while Raytheon comes here, touts all of its bullshit about how fun it will be to work and solve fun engineering problems. Because the problems you're solving are killing children. I'm gonna hand the mic off in a little bit. I'm gonna lead a few more chants. End the war in Yemen!
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 Fuck Raytheon!
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 Fuck Lockheed Martin!
Fuck Lockheed Martin!
Fuck Boeing!
Fuck Boeing!
Fuck General Dynamics!
Fuck General Dynamics!
Fuck Blackwater!
Fuck Blackwater!
Fuck Betsy DeVos too!
While we're at it!
Hey everybody, for anybody walking by, some of us are holding small blue backpacks. The kids who were killed in August last year, who were targeted on a bus coming back from a school trip, many of them were carrying blue UNICEF backpacks. On each of these backpacks is the name of one of the children killed on his way back from a field trip. They were killed with a bomb from Raytheon. Raytheon sells precision-guided weapons to the Saudi coalition, and the UN has determined something that's fairly commonsensical, that precision-guided weapons hit their target. Shortly after that bus was hit, the Joint Incident Assess team set up by the Saudis reported that that bus was a legitimate target. 40 kids killed, some of their chaperones were killed, and was obviously a targeted killing. Raytheon has to stop selling weapons, and that's why we're here. So when you look at these backpacks, think of kids in your neighborhood. Think of them going on their field trips, and wonder what could possibly make them a targeted killing. Thank you.
That was really well said, and I think it gets at just really how brutal this war is. You know, the U.S. had to certify in order to continue arms sales to Saudi Arabia that the Saudis weren't intentionally targeting civilians. It seems kind of strange because school buses full of children are being bombed, because hospitals and water treatment plants are being bombed, because after people get killed and their family members are dead and they go out to have a funeral, the funerals are getting bombed. What sort of threats do these pose? Well, the answer is clearly, basically none. The hospitals and water treatment plants, the school buses full of children. So how could the U.S. approve continued arms sales to Saudi Arabia? How can they approve continued collaboration? Because the U.S. often provides the targeting information for these strikes. Well, I'm forgetting his name at present, but there was a person, I think it was an Assistant Secretary of State, Charles Faulkner, who approved it. He's the one who signed off on it. Little interesting piece of trivia. You know what he did before he worked at in the government? He was a lobbyist for Raytheon. The level of direct and open corruption and collaboration between the war profiteers and the U.S. military and government, it's sad to see. And this one incident that we heard about it in the build-up to the midterm elections, and we probably heard about it in part because of the elections, but it's one among many. It's a genocidal war where journalists, or people even just posting things about the war on Twitter, are routinely executed and killed. And who are they executed and killed by? Well, they're often executed and killed by former members of the U.S. military who are now part of hit squads for the United Arab Emirates. So this is the reality of this war. It's an incredibly brutal war, but it's also not unique in the history of U.S. wars. If you look at the U.S. war in Korea, you can see similar tactics as far as targeting agricultural fields, hospitals, dams, water treatment plants, and the like, and civilians left and right. And so we need to, as people of this country, we have an obligation to come together to stand up and oppose this war. And we need to do it now. It's really great to see all of you out here tonight. It's quite empowering to see people saying, we're not going to stand for this. We're not going to let universities try to whitewash the image of war profiteers like Raytheon and General Dynamics and Lockheed Martin. But we also need to grow the movement, and we need to sustain it. Our hope is that this can be, well, this is going to be the first in a series of protests against universities having companies like Raytheon on their campuses. But this is just the beginning. So on February 4th, what day of the week is that?
Monday.
Monday?
Monday.
Yeah, Monday. We're going to be at MIT. Now, Raytheon's not going to be there, but they're going to have a big campus career fair for similar companies. Monday is also going to be the second National Day of Action against the war in Yemen. And it's part of, now it's growing a national campaign against this war. It's important, you know, these things often start small. If you look at opposition to the Vietnam War, we see about it on TV, like in the, you know, like movies or documentaries, and it's hundreds of thousands of people in the street. But for years, while the U.S. was waging a brutal war in Vietnam, it was small-scale protests. It took time to grow it, but this is what we're doing. We're laying the foundation for a bigger movement. And so we're hoping that these protests at these different universities can be an important part of that. And as we know, it's not just the university's ties with the war profiteers, it's also countries like Saudi Arabia and the UAE who donate hundreds of millions of dollars to these universities to publish papers whitewashing their role in the world. So it's really encouraging to see everyone coming out here, standing together and pushing back.
Hey!
Hey!
You hear me?
Yeah.
Yeah. All right. So we are in front of the career fair. Mind you, I think they changed the address like twice. And the date too. Because they know who they are. They know what they do. They know the terror and havoc that they put on the world. And they have to keep a very, very discreet way of doing things. And this is what's happened. They're in a different location, but we found you. We found you. We're here. And we're being loud. And we're pressing the button. All I have to say is that it is sad. It is sad to see students come into this building and they're fed lies. They are fed. Imagine all these little children that had these bags that came from the school bus. Imagine their futures. Imagine if Raytheon never bombed that bus, where they would be right now. They would be with their families. They would be with their mother and father right now. They would be surrounded by love. But no, Raytheon right here they have an agenda to make money and to kill people, and they know what they do. Little children in Yemen, they pick up pieces of bombs that have the serial number of the bombs. They see this every single day. They are reminded daily of how the United States hates them, literally hates them. They profit off. They're reminded of this. And the U.S. media has the nerve to be like, oh, these people are radicalized. Imagine being bombed on, shot at, for years, for decades, and you're supposed to just be like, oh, it's nothing. I'm not bothered. You know, it's whatever. Our country gets bombed every single day. It's just another bomb. No, there's a reason why these people get radicalized. It is because the United States enlists and contracts these defense contractors. I'm sorry, not defense contractors. War profiteers. They contract these people to do their dirty work worldwide. Why is it that the United States is in literally over 100 countries? Why are there military bases within over 100 countries? Why is it? So they can keep their sphere of influence live. So they can keep on having people think of them as the place to be. We need to be like America. No, America's trash. There are places in America like Detroit, parts of Dorchester, parts of Roxbury, where people barely even make enough money, where it's underdeveloped. And it's sad. But here we are. I'm not going to focus on the sad parts anymore. I'm going to focus on the positive. There are people out here that have a shred of conscience, a shred of morality, and say, fuck Raytheon, because fuck them. Fuck all they do. I'm not going to say F-U-C-K, because I might scare some people. But all I will say is that we're out here fighting. And like my comrade said before, Ryan, this is only the beginning. This is only the beginning. Woo! Yeah! We are about to really, I don't know, I just can't fathom it. It's gonna be amazing. I see a lot of people picking up the flyers. They're happy. They're thinking, what am I doing? Why is it that I'm going to a school that has a whole amphitheater named after Raytheon? Why is it that the Raytheon's here? Why is Northeastern comfortable with this? I'm glad people are starting to think about these things because it needs to be thought about. We have forgotten our morals for too long, but I'm glad that this war that's happening and the president that we have is really starting to remind people that we need to start protesting. We need to start fighting. We need to start getting out in the streets because the politicians that we vote for are not doing it for us anymore. We have to get out there and get the message across. Thank you.
Who are you guys?
My name is Sean. I'm a student at the law school here at Northeastern.
I thought you were mainstream media.
Raytheon is doing horrible things in Yemen, and they're also doing horrible things in Gaza. They make Tomahawk missiles that kill children every time Israel decides to bomb Gaza.
Yep, that's right. Absolutely.
And America's money is going to killing kids overseas instead of kids in Roxbury right there. Northeastern tried to buy a housing complex across the street from it to displace people so it could build buildings. I'm a proud Northeastern student, but this is really making me question a lot of things. Am I going to buy a sweatshirt? Am I going to tell people in my community to go to Northeastern? I don't know.
Oh, it's fine.
Am I going to donate? I don't know. If they keep doing things like this, the answer is absolutely not.
Whoa!
Hey, my name's Alice. I'm out here with the Coalition to Stop Genocide in Yemen. I think it's really, really important that we get out here and we say no to these bloated defense contractors and we start to raise a ruckus about what they're doing. Because the reality is, this kind of protest doesn't happen every day for Raytheon. It's not something they're used to dealing with. I think back in the 60s and the 70s in this country, these war profiteers did actually have to deal with this on a regular basis. They got forced to move all the defense research off of the MIT campus in response to student protests. They had to spin it off into Draper, which is kind of like a half compromise. But still, there was a time where they couldn't come to a recruitment fair without probably some security and actually trying to worry about whether people would try to, I don't know, tip their table over, take their shit away. I think we have to get back a little bit more to that. Because these people, they show up at MIT at a career fair and they can just count on the fact that they can sign up 100 engineers right there to make weapons that are just designed to destroy buildings and to kill children all around the world. And these companies, they're bloated and enormous. I mean, the amount of money. I read that one of the most effective investments you can make is to be a defense contractor and invest in lobbying. You get something like 100 times return on that money that you put in, because you can just put money in some politician's pocket and boom, big old contract, you know, a month later. But I think we really have to come together as a people trying to oppose this stuff, because they're draining the shit out of our pocket here in terms of the tax dollars that we pay in, that the government forks over to these people constantly, and they're also they're pummeling the people of the world. It's a terrible situation for people in Yemen right now. The UN has called it the world's worst humanitarian crisis. I think it's 16 or 18 million people now on the verge of famine, 115,000 children dead already. That's staggering. And we live in a world where we live in the country that's directly responsible for this. It wouldn't happen without US support, US intelligence, US direction, US bombs, US mechanics fixing the planes, US pilots training the UAE and the Saudi pilots, the US Green Berets that are on the Saudi-Yemen border. I mean, this thing is a US war. But if we look around in the US right now, we don't see a whole lot of pushback to it. But we got to change that. We got to come together, we got to build up the anti-war movement. We got to have a lot of people in this country coming together to say, I don't want to live in a country that's an empire. I don't want to live, and if I am going to live in a country that's an empire, I want to do everything I can to tear it down and to live in a world free of war, free of imperialism, and free of oppression. Power to the people and end the war in Yemen.
Are you, can you just give your name?
Yeah, my name's Ryan Costello.
Okay, and are you one of the organizers?
Yeah, I'm a member of the Coalition to Stop the Genocide in Yemen, and we've been one of the groups that organized this event today.
Okay, and what's the main thing you're trying to call for, and what's the main thing?
There's a few things. First, we're calling for an immediate end to the war in Yemen and an end to U.S. support for the war in Yemen, which is multifaceted. They provide intelligence, targeting information, and the like. Everything short of pulling the trigger in the war. We're also calling for an end to U.S. arms sales to Saudi Arabia. With this particular protest, there's a career fair right there going on where Raytheon and other defense contractors, it's really a misnomer, these war profiteers, were invited here with open arms by Northeastern University to come and recruit students to make bombs that kill poor people all around the world. And so we're saying Northeastern should sever their ties with these weapons manufacturers, should not invite them on campus for recruitment fairs, should close down this Raytheon auditorium, whatever the hell it's called, rename it something else, and end all financial relationships with them, and stop recruiting students to make weapons of death.
And do you think Raytheon should be held accountable in some way?
Absolutely. I think they should pay reparations to the people of Yemen, the people of Iraq and Afghanistan, and basically everywhere their bombs have fallen, Palestine, etc. I think they owe the people of the world a big apology, and not just an apology, but also, again, reparations for all the harm they've done.
Yeah, and why do you think there's so little pushback? Like, why is there only around 20, 30 protesters here? Why don't we see mainstream media here? Why isn't there more public attention, outcry?
Well, generally, for a while, since Obama was elected, there's been bipartisan consensus in the U.S. political establishment that you don't question really foreign policy. You know, Obama promised to end the wars to an extent, but then he didn't. He did the surge in Afghanistan and the like. And that was a big hit for the anti-war movement. People believed, and I believed when I was 18 years old when he got elected, that he was really going to end the wars, but he didn't. So we kind of got to start from the ground zero, building things back up. And we need to push back, and it's a bit harder when both parties have been so supportive of the wars abroad. Now that's starting to change. You know, recently there was a Senate bill against the war in Yemen. It looks like there's going to be a new introduction of more bills in the House and the Senate against the war in Yemen. So hopefully that's reflective of a larger shift in this society where more people are going to be getting out in opposition to this war and U.S. imperialism more broadly. It happened in the past and it'll happen again.
All right, thanks a lot. Appreciate
it. Thank you.
Excuse me, sir. Can you just explain your backpack real quick?
Yeah. So,
can you just state your name first?
My name's Dan McLaughlin. In August last year, a school bus of students was coming back from a field trip in Sana'a in Yemen, and their bus was bombed by a precision-guided missile shot by the Saudi coalition. Almost 40 kids were killed, and a number of their chaperones were killed. Many of the kids were wearing UNICEF-provided backpacks, and they were found all over the site. On each of these backpacks is the name of one of the kids who was killed. We think it's important that the kids who were killed are remembered for who they were. They had real names, what age they were. Shortly after that bombing happened, the Saudi coalition reported, based on their investigation, that it was a legitimate target, which is insane.
Yeah.
So that's what the backpacks are.
Okay.
Thanks.
Can you explain what brought you here, ma'am?
Well, it really worries me that well, the war in Yemen really worries me. I'm very upset, and I'm happy that we have a local connection, that we can fight against Raytheon, that so many of the bombs that are used to bomb Yemen are made at Raytheon. So what we're doing here today is trying to reach out to students who might be tempted to be recruited, because Raytheon is here recruiting today.
Yeah, they're in that building, correct?
I believe so.
Yeah.
Yeah, someone said maybe that.
Oh, okay, yeah.
They're right here.
Why do you think there's so little pushback and so little people here at the rally right now?
Well, compared to a lot of our peace rallies, there are a lot of people, but you know, it's so far away. We don't have a draft these days, so it's only people who choose to be interested in wars in far away places that are concerned. It's not like everybody coming out of college has to decide how do they, you know, get out of the draft.
All right, thanks a lot. Appreciate it. Oh, I'm sorry. Can you state your name as well?
I'm Susan McLucas from
Okay.
Somerville.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah, my name's Brian. I'm with Massachusetts Peace Action. I've been working for the last year to try and build the peace movement among my generation and folks younger. It's a big problem because so many people who are in the peace movement now really cut their teeth protesting the war in Vietnam. Since they got rid of the draft, people our age, we don't really have as much skin in the game. Less than 1% of our population serves in the active military, but it doesn't mean that the wars have stopped. They're just better at hiding. They're better at lowering U.S. casualties, having proxies like the absolute monarchies of the United Arab Emirates and Saudi Arabia carry out these wars for them. And it's connected to the environment deeply too. I haven't heard that much yet, but it needs to be said that this oil money that's being used to purchase arms is at the same time destroying our world. So there's so many reasons. I heard people talking about poor communities in Boston and across America. I think it was Martin Luther King who said that the bombs that we drop overseas on poor people also fall on poor neighborhoods in the United States of America.
Yeah.
$700 billion a year for war now, for our military budget. And we can't figure out how to give our people health care or decent infrastructure or a Green New Deal.
All right. Thanks a lot. Appreciate it. So it's wrapping up right now. And we're going to go over to Raytheon, who's in there.
Let's give them a send-off, comrades. Hey, everyone in the building. This is to all you war profiteers and students who are hoping to make a quick buck, making weapons of death and destruction. They'll tell you that they're helping make precision-guided missiles, and those are more accurate. The problem is, when these precision-guided missiles are intentionally aimed at civilians, like they are every single day, the guidance systems make them more effective weapons for genocide. So are you going to go and work at a company that's committing genocide in Yemen? Or are you going to stand with the people of the world against this bullshit? Raytheon, go home! 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 Let's get Draper now! Draper, go home! Draper, go home! that sound, they've got to run for the bunker or the basement or whatever makeshift shelter they have because your bombs are coming for them.
How you doing?
Are you part of the rally?
No.
You're not part of the rally?
What about you?
You're not part of the rally?
Are you?
Can you explain what brought you here? Are you working for Raytheon?
This is Boston. And you should turn that off. You don't have my permission to record me.
Are you working at Raytheon?
If you record my voice, I can arrest you for that.
She's a security here.
How does that sound? How does that sound?
They got this woman looks like...
You can get arrested. So you might want to go back over there.
She's saying I can get arrested.
Yeah.
Really? Why am I going to get arrested?
You put in someone's voice without their permission.
Yeah. This is a security here. You think she's part of the rally, but she's not. She's filming everyone. She's getting people's faces. That's what she's doing. Yeah, now she's going back inside. Can you explain what brought you here?
Oh, I'm running the event.
Oh, you're running the event? Yeah.
Yeah, I run the event.
What's your name?
My name is Billy Kalfas.
And can you explain what's going on in there?
Oh, it's a career fair. We're essentially inviting some employers in and having some ECE students come and network with the employers. The employers can talk about the work that they do. It's a really great event for both the students and the employers.
And how do you feel about the protests going on and them calling attention to Raytheon's bombings being used to kill civilians and children in Yemen?
Well, I should mention I'm a bit biased. I am a Raytheon employee myself, so I figured, I should let you know that if you're asking me a question honestly. But my honest personal opinion about it is freedom of speech is something that makes this country great. So you know what? If they're perfectly free to, express their opinion as much as they want, you know what? As long as nobody's getting hurt and nobody is stopping them from getting done what they got to get done, then they can shout all they want.
So do you think there's any there's like a moral dilemma working at Raytheon with all of these war crimes in Yemen committed by Saudi Arabia using Raytheon's bombs?
I don't think I know.
Do you think there's a moral dilemma?
Well,
there's hundreds of children that have died using Raytheon's bombs. How do you feel about that?
I have to get back to you.
Yeah. How do you feel about that? See, he doesn't answer my question. Look at that. See, I wonder. I've written articles about this. How do these people sleep at night? Neocons. How do they sleep at night? Are you serious? Like, come on. Like everyone freaks out. This is ridiculous. There should be like thousands of people freaking out right now. Protesting Raytheon. Well, at least we got an interview from one of them.